The sun rose gently over the monastery, casting golden light upon the stone courtyard. Birds sang softly in the morning air. Buddha sat beneath the Bodhi tree, his presence calm like a still lake untouched by wind or tide. The disciples gathered around him, eager for his wisdom, their minds open and hearts attentive. Buddha's eyes rested on the horizon, as if gazing beyond the immediate into the infinite. A young disciple, hesitant yet curious, stepped forward and bowed deeply. "Master, my mind wanders constantly. I struggle to find peace within myself," he confessed. Buddha regarded him with gentle understanding, his expression serene and unwavering. "The mind is like a river, flowing endlessly, shaping the land through its movement," Buddha spoke. "When left untamed, it floods, carrying away peace, drowning clarity," he continued. "But when guided with care, it nourishes the soil, bringing life and wisdom," Buddha said. Another disciple, older and wiser, nodded thoughtfully. "Master, how do we guide our minds like the river? How do we cultivate awareness?" he asked. Buddha smiled slightly, his voice carrying the weight of ancient truth. "Meditation is the key. Breath is the anchor. Attention is the guide," he answered. The disciples listened intently, hanging on every word, absorbing the lesson like dry earth drinking rain. When you breathe with awareness, your mind becomes steady. It learns to observe, rather than react, Buddha explained. The younger disciple furrowed his brow, deep in thought. "But my thoughts race. My emotions overwhelm me," he admitted. Buddha extended his hand toward a nearby pond, its surface reflecting the sky above. "Look at the water. When disturbed, it ripples, distorting the reflection," he said. "But when left undisturbed, it mirrors the world clearly." Without deception, Buddha continued, "Our minds are no different. Agitation distorts perception. Stillness reveals truth," he taught. The disciples exchanged glances, contemplating the lesson, finding clarity in the simple yet profound wisdom. Ananda, a devoted student, stepped forward. "Master, does meditation change the structure of the mind itself?" he asked. Buddha nodded slowly, his expression thoughtful. "The mind, like a forest, is filled with pathways formed by habit," he explained. "Some paths lead to suffering, others lead to peace. Meditation clears new trails," Buddha continued. "As you meditate, your mind rewires itself. Old patterns weaken, new insights emerge," he said. The young disciple took a deep breath, his shoulders relaxing as understanding dawned within him. "I wish to cultivate such awareness, Master. But the world distracts me," he admitted. Buddha gestured toward the mountains standing firm in the distance. "Do you see how the wind bends the trees, yet the mountains remain unmoved?" he asked. The disciple nodded, waiting for the deeper meaning behind the observation. "The mind must become the mountain, not rigid, but unwavering, strong in presence," Buddha explained. "When untrained, the mind is like a tree swayed by each passing gust. Fear, desire, regret," he continued. "But through meditation, it stands firm, witnessing but not consumed by the storm," Buddha said. A merchant, passing by, overheard the words and approached with reverence. "Revered one, my thoughts torment me. I dwell on mistakes and future worries," he confessed. Buddha's gaze was soft but piercing, seeing beyond the merchant's external concerns. "Suffering arises not from the past or future but from the mind's attachment," Buddha spoke. "If you grip a burning coal, your hand burns. If you release it, the pain ceases," he continued. The merchant bowed his head, deeply considering the metaphor, understanding it within his own burdens. A disciple, observing the interaction, asked a question. "Master, does meditation remove suffering entirely?" he inquired. Buddha shook his head gently. "No, suffering is part of existence. Meditation does not eliminate pain. but transforms the way we relate to it, he explained. When mindfulness is present, pain is seen clearly, not feared, not avoided, he continued. The mind learns to rest in awareness rather than resistance, Buddha said. The disciples murmured among themselves, grasping the depth of the teaching, allowing it to settle within. Buddha closed his eyes momentarily, breathing deeply, embodying the lesson he had shared. The morning sun climbed higher, illuminating the faces of the gathered disciples, filling the space with warmth. A final question rose from the group, tentative but important. Master, how do we begin? How do we take the first step? Someone asked. Buddha opened his eyes, filled with light yet depth, endless yet present. You begin now. You begin here. You begin with one breath, he answered. Silence followed, not empty but full, rich with understanding, pregnant with possibility. Each disciple, each traveler, each listener felt something shift within. The mind, like the river, began to flow with intention, toward wisdom, toward peace. And so the teaching continued, carried beyond words, beyond time, into the breath of existence. Another day, another lesson, another opportunity to deepen awareness and cultivate wisdom. The disciples gathered once more beneath the Bodhi tree, the morning air cool and still. Buddha sat in quiet contemplation, his presence radiating peace like ripples across a still pond. A traveler approached, his face weary, his steps hesitant but determined. Master, I seek your guidance. My heart is restless, my mind troubled, he confessed. Buddha gestured for him to sit, his eyes holding both kindness and knowing. The mind, when untrained, is like a wild horse, unpredictable, untamed, running without direction, Buddha spoke. When harnessed with awareness, it becomes steady, carrying wisdom instead of fear, he continued. The traveler nodded, his breath uneven, his thoughts tangled within doubts and uncertainties. I cannot control my thoughts. They overwhelm me with regret and worry, he admitted. Buddha picked up a small stone and placed it in the traveler's hand. Hold this stone tightly, he instructed. The traveler clenched his fist around it, feeling its rough edges press into his palm. Does gripping it lessen the hardness of the stone? Buddha asked. The traveler shook his head, puzzled but thoughtful. No, Master, the stone remains unchanged. Though my hand grows tired, he answered. Buddha nodded, his smile gentle but firm. Thoughts, like this stone, do not change by resisting them, but holding on to them causes suffering, he explained. Release the stone, Buddha instructed. The traveler opened his hand, the stone falling soundlessly to the ground. And so it is with your mind, Buddha continued. When you let go, the burden eases. When you hold on, suffering persists, he taught. The disciples exchanged glances, contemplating the lesson, recognizing its truth in their own struggles. Sariputta, a devoted disciple, stepped forward, his brow furrowed with curiosity. Master, does meditation make one indifferent to suffering? He asked. Buddha shook his head, his voice unwavering. Not indifferent, resilient, he answered. Meditation strengthens awareness, allowing one to witness pain without being consumed by it, he explained. The mind learns to rest in presence, observing without attachment, Buddha continued. The traveler sighed, relief beginning to settle within his chest. I have lived in the shadows of my past mistakes. How do I free myself? He asked. Buddha lifted his gaze toward the towering mountains beyond the monastery. Do you see how the mountain stands unmoved by the passing storms? He asked. The traveler nodded, awaiting the deeper meaning. The mind must become the mountain, not rigid, but unwavering, firm in presence, Buddha said. When untrained, it is like a leaf carried by the wind, subject to fear, desire, regret, he explained. But through meditation, it becomes strong, Witnessing without losing itself to suffering, Buddha continued. A merchant, overhearing the exchange, stepped forward, his hands folded in reverence. Master, my thoughts torment me, I dwell on loss. Fearing what may come, he shared. Buddha regarded him with patience, seeing beyond the spoken words. Suffering arises not from events, but from our mind's attachment to them, he spoke. If you grip a burning coal, does the fire diminish? Buddha asked. The merchant shook his head, recognizing the lesson before Buddha spoke further. But if you release it, the pain ceases, Buddha finished. The merchant bowed deeply, understanding the truth carried in those simple words. Ananda, listening closely, voiced another question. Master, if suffering persists, does that mean peace is impossible? He asked. Buddha closed his eyes briefly before answering. Suffering exists. Peace exists. Meditation does not erase pain, but transforms how we meet it, he explained. When mindfulness is present, suffering is seen clearly, not feared, not avoided, Buddha continued. The mind learns to rest in wisdom rather than resistance, he taught. The disciples remained silent, absorbing the depth of the teaching, allowing it to settle within them. Buddha breathed deeply, embodying the very lesson he shared. His presence unwavering. The afternoon sun cast long shadows upon the earth, a reminder of time's quiet movement. A final question arose, hesitant yet necessary. Master, how do we begin? How do we take the first step? Someone asked. Buddha opened his eyes, his gaze filled with endless wisdom and quiet certainty. You begin now. You begin here. You begin with one breath, he answered. Silence followed, rich with meaning, vibrant with possibility. Each disciple, each traveler, each listener felt something shift within. The mind, like the mountain, began to stand with presence, unwavering, wise. And so, the teaching continued, carried beyond words, beyond time, into the breath of existence. Another day, another gathering, another opportunity to deepen understanding and refine awareness. The disciples sat in quiet reverence, the evening air cool beneath the vast stretch of the stars. Buddha sat in stillness, his presence vast yet intimate, his breath steady like the tide. A scholar approached, his robes heavy, his thoughts restless, his heart uncertain. Master, I have studied many teachings, yet wisdom escapes me, he admitted. Buddha looked at him, his gaze deep with knowing. Knowledge is plentiful, but wisdom is rare. Learning is not memorization, but transformation, Buddha spoke. The scholar furrowed his brow, considering the meaning hidden within those words. But how does wisdom arise? How does one move beyond knowledge? He asked. Buddha gestured to the fire burning steadily in the center of the monastery courtyard. Fire provides heat, but uncontrolled, it consumes. Thoughts are much the same, he explained. When guided with mindfulness, they illuminate. When left unchecked, they burn the mind with illusion, Buddha continued. The disciples listened intently, sensing the depth of the lesson unfolding before them. A young monk stepped forward, his voice filled with sincerity. Master, I struggle to retain the teachings. My mind forgets, and I feel lost, he admitted. Buddha's eyes softened, holding understanding without judgment. The mind is like a garden. Seeds of wisdom must be planted, watered, and tended with care, he said. If neglected, weeds of distraction grow, overtaking the path toward truth, Buddha continued. The monk took a deep breath, his shoulders relaxing as clarity settled within him. I wish to remember, to hold the teachings within me, he said. Buddha picked up a cup and filled it with water. An overflowing cup cannot hold more. An empty cup can receive fully, he explained. The mind must be emptied of distraction to absorb wisdom, Buddha continued. The disciples exchanged glances, recognizing the lesson in their own struggles. Ananda, ever thoughtful, spoke next. Master, does meditation expand the mind beyond its limits? He asked. Buddha nodded, his presence unwavering. The mind, like the universe, is boundless. Meditation is the gateway to infinite awareness, he answered. As the brain rewires, it expands. New connections form. Old limitations dissolve, Buddha explained. The scholar sighed, his heart lighter, his thoughts more open. I have clung to knowledge without understanding. How do I embrace wisdom? He asked. Buddha gestured toward the flowing river beyond the monastery. Water adapts to its course, moving around obstacles rather than resisting them, Buddha said. To learn, one must flow. One must release rigidity. One must embrace presence, he explained. The scholar bowed deeply, recognizing the truth resting within those words. A merchant, sitting nearby, joined the conversation. Master, I seek wisdom but fear what I might discover, he admitted. Buddha looked at him, his expression steady, his voice calm. Wisdom does not create fear. It dissolves it, Buddha spoke. Fear arises when we cling to illusion. Letting go reveals truth, he continued. The merchant nodded, taking slow, deliberate breaths, feeling himself settle into the moment. A final question arose, hesitant yet profound. Master, is learning ever complete? Someone asked. Buddha closed his eyes momentarily before answering. Never. The mind grows as long as one breathes. Learning is the refinement of wisdom, he spoke. As meditation deepens, understanding expands. As awareness sharpens, illusion fades, Buddha continued. The disciples sat in silence, absorbing the lesson, allowing it to reshape their understanding. The night sky stretched endlessly above them, reflecting the boundless nature of the mind itself. Buddha rose, his movement deliberate, his presence filled with quiet certainty. Go forth, breathe with presence, learn with openness, walk the path with awareness, Buddha instructed. The disciples bowed deeply, carrying the teaching beyond words, beyond time, into the breath of existence. If you rest, let it be complete. The flame teaches wisdom, Buddha continued. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.